Just going straight live. We're good.
Yeah, just go straight live.
All right. Everybody, we are back. It's Taped On Live. It's your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders everything. You guys already know what to do. Subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Right? And then, leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. And follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL and at BD Williams 18. What's up, y'all? We are back. The Raiders, we're talking day one free agency, right? Talking free agency that really hasn't been happening. I know a lot of us are getting antsy. I know you guys are antsy out there. I already know.
People are getting antsy.
We're getting antsy. Like people already decided that the McDaniels didn't suck. It's over, and we're done. Season's over. We're not gonna do anything. So
that's hilarious. Yeah. Right? So the one thing I will say about this, okay, fans are getting antsy. They're seeing good players. There's plenty of good players who have signed other teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the fans are getting antsy, okay. But you look at the Chargers. What are they doing? This is like you got to win a Super Bowl with what the Chargers are doing right now, right? And keep in mind, Chargers, they're making a bunch of moves, right?
Yeah.
Denver obviously made a couple big moves. Russell Wilson being a huge move. Randy Gregory, right?
Gregory.
Those teams didn't make the playoffs last year. Okay, the Raiders did make the playoffs last year. Josh McDaniels came here because of that, so he thinks this is just my reading on it. Not from today, lack of moves, but when he took the job and he did the press conference, he thinks he can win now with this roster as it is constructed, and everyone talked about it. Tight end, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. This is perfect. This is exactly what Josh McDaniels needs in his offense. He doesn't even need an outside receiver. So everyone's like, we got to get Devontae Adams in a trade. We got to get Allen Robinson. We got to get DJ Chark to take the top off. Look at did Patriots have any player of that caliber the last 5 years?
It's only Brandon Cooks.
There you go. So obviously the offense works.
Which is still early in the process too. So sorry to interrupt.
It's early. Right? They'll probably get someone, but I think people are misreading it as this is a dire need. For McDaniels, it's like a luxury having an outside receiver who wins outside the numbers. That's a luxury in his offense. Darren Waller, that's a necessity. Hunter Renfrow, huge necessity. He needs those type of players. That's why he came here. He feels good about the roster. That being said, it seems like the moves that they have been making, either signing that guy, Phillips is his name?
Yeah.
They signed Phillips. Obviously, this is like a special teams kind of player. Maybe, maybe he'll be, play some nickel. We'll see. Yeah. But return kicks. He's there to take Hunter Renfrow off the return teams. Okay. There's no money in that, right? They re-signed Andre James to get some money available. Sounds like, and we were talking about this right before the show, so I won't steal your thunder here. You can go for it. But It sounds like they're gearing up, right, to make some kind of big move. And when I'm looking at the board, the prizes of free agency are still out there. The two best players in free agency, Armstead and Allen Robinson, have not been signed yet, right? So I don't know if look at Armstead, look at the pass rushers in this division. Maybe that's something that they're looking for. Who knows? But what do you think?
Yeah, the thing with Armstead, Armstead's a left tackle, so you have to decide: is you going to move Colton? You know what I mean? Do you want to move Colton to the right tackle, which he played his first 3 years of college? He only played left tackle 1 year in college, which is you go back and you think of Tom Cable. Tom Cable saw a left tackle. He already had Donald Penn, who was left tackle, decided he wanted to take a guy who was a career right tackle and make him the left tackle, and then move Donald Penn to right tackle.
Right.
So that was that was genius. Which I want to make another point too, which I think want to build on your point a little bit, which is how they kind of like this team already, right?
Yeah.
And people can't wrap their mind around that. right? It's so crazy to them that they like this team. And just like Patrick Graham's press conference, man, which was very telling to me. The most telling thing about it was how taken back he was by how the media was acting about the team. Like he was really taken back by it. Like he was like I like the players here, right? And he was kind of like trying to push that a little bit. And I think that's super interesting because, you know, you got some guys like Trayvon Moehrig and Nate Hobbs and players that they can build around. Maybe they have some visions of some of these things they can do, right? Yeah. And they can put some solid players in. And I also think they're looking for veterans, which all the 30-year-olds get signed later in free agency most of the time.
Yes.
I think that too. I think we're seeing veterans going to come in because that's where they need holes at. I mean, they have young players at different positions. They have Max Crosby at end. They got Yannick Ngakoue at the other defensive end. You can fill him in. You can bring in some solid, like Calais Campbell, right? Calais Campbell on a year, right? I mean, I think that's what they're saying.
Right.
I think you can just listen to their press conference, bro. You listen to Mick Lombardi, bro. Like the whole press conference, he talked about coaching. That's all he talked about. Coaching. We're going to coach him up. We're going to put him on philosophy. We're going to coach him. I think the guys here, we're going to coach him up. They think they're the whole line. They probably think the line is probably just the worst coach line that they've ever seen. Like, how do you have this 340-pound guy that can move and you're not moving his hands? You got, you know, why his hands still suck? Like, even like to tell you the Alex Leatherwood comment was like taken the wrong way. You know what I mean? He's like, well, he kind of sucks now. So maybe I should worry about his technique first before I worry about what position I put him at. And that kind of went over everybody's head. It's like, well, you know, Vic Tafer made like a comment about it. He's like, oh, well, what does that mean? You know, it means some football stuff, guys. That's kind of going over, like it's going over some people's heads here. They're talking a lot of football stuff, and it's boring. Like, that's what it really is. Right? It's boring.
Just say you don't like them and that you're gonna cut them. Like that, they just want like a clickbait thing that they can type in. They don't want to hear about hand usage. Okay. Our reporters,
because during Mick Lombardi's press conference, bro, they Josh DeBoe asked him what kind of wide receiver he went. He goes on like a 15-minute rant about like the right receiver position, the stem. He's like, first it starts off with the release. If you can't release, then we can't even take you at any point because if you have no good release, then like he basically just broke down like every receiver they're gonna draft. So I like started marking guys off. Okay, that guy's a bad release, so he's probably not gonna take him.
Then, there you go. Okay, I like
who else? I mean, probably maybe Treylon Burks. Okay, yeah, good release. I mapped it with what he was saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's the they're gonna draft. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh yeah. For sure.
You know what I mean?
Before we get into our segments, same thing with Graham. He kept on talking about defensive line. He kept on talking about guys who can shock, get full extension, play the run, get off blocks in the run game. He kept on talking about hands. He kept on talking about pad level and hands. So I hit up Matt afterwards, Holder. For the people who, watch the show, Matt, right? So I hit up Matt and I was like, Graham keeps on talking about hand usage and pad level. Like who has that, right? Who in this draft has that? And he said, our guy Wyatt, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw you sent me the Senior Bowl stuff. So I was watching the drills.
Yeah.
And Wyatt, to me, I was like, this guy's hand usage is fantastic. So hearing Matt, there you go. So hearing Matt echo that, I'm thinking Wyatt, that could be a serious option at 22 because if it's what Graham likes and it's a first round caliber, defensive tackle and it's a position of need, it's like, okay, this is perfect. But yeah, like definitely keeping an ear out for what these coaches are saying. We got to learn these coaches now that we're covering. This is brand new for us too. So we got to keep listen to them and see what they're saying. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I mean, we can jump in to our segments here. Okay. Full disclosure, Marcus was fully prepared. I'll take the heat for this one, Marcus. Marcus was fully prepared with a list of great free agents. Okay, and we were gonna do this show last night, but I had to tap out. It was like too late. The time change caught me off guard, and all of Marcus's free agents got signed. So I apologize. Marcus is scrambling, pre-production here. We're trying to figure out who we're going to take. So I'm not going to put you on the spot. Here's what I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to go by some positions, and then I'll go first, who I'm looking at in free agency, and then you could go. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do every single position, but we'll do like a few positions. So first position, I think, just looking at the way that that the defenses in this division are structured, with all these great edge rushers, I'm looking at tackle. being like the number one most important thing.
Yeah.
And I did talk about Teron Armstead. You talked about, potentially moving Colton Miller to the right side. For me, I don't care, honestly, about moving like a guy who's young like that in his career. You move a tackle from the right to left at over 30, okay, we're probably got a problem here. You know what I'm saying? But if Colton Miller moved to the right side because they signed Teron Armstead, we got basically an all-pro left tackle, and then a guy who is like almost a Pro Bowl caliber tackle who's trying to figure out how to play right tackle. That's better than Brandon Parker being over there, right? Come on. So I like Teron Armstead. I see the moves that they're making. I see the amount of cap space, right? I think right now, because they just haven't signed anyone. They've only been restructuring deals. They have like the most cap space, right? I'm looking at Teron Armstead. Let's break the bank. Get Teron Armstead at tackle. All right. If you want to have a rebuttal to that, you can. We already talked about Teron Armstead. Do you have a tackle that you have in mind?
No. A tackle that I have in mind. I like Darrell Williams.
Yes.
Darrell Williams is a good tackle. Good right tackle that the Bills released. There's somebody else got released today that was a good right tackle too that I really liked. I can't think of who it was, but he got released too. And that guy was somebody that I was really looking at. Who also I'm looking at too, which if we're talking about offensive line, is J.C. Treader.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he got released. Yeah.
And Andre James, he got put to backup center money. Let's be honest. He got put to backup center money, if you want to keep it real. So he's that kind of tells us maybe they're looking at centers. I mean, even if we talk about draft, Tyler Linderbaum, I talked about it. He's really small. I saw my man Marcus Mosher kind of slander him a little bit today. There's a little draft.
Tiny.
Right?
Yeah.
Tiny.
Yeah.
Right? But hey,
he did slander him. He did slander
him.
This
is the Patriots, right? But the Buck Chiefs Bengals already made moves. I mean, but who did they sign? They signed their own players. I mean, that's not. I mean, the Bengals made some moves, but the Bengals have no line. They're desperate. But anyways, he lost my train of thought there. So Tyler Linderbaum, J.C. Treader, those type of guys, I think they could be on the radar for inside playing center. Zion Johnson is another guy too that they could be looking at for the draft, because I mean they could be looking towards the draft too. I mean they got good positions, they got draft picks, or they could be looking for a trade too. Or what you're talking about. I mean they could be waiting for James Bradberry as well. So those are some.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to the corners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to the corners. Okay.
All right. So you were talking about. Hold on. I'm looking at the right tackles who are available right now. Obviously not Balaga. Marcus Cannon is available. Jermaine Ifedi is available. Micah Remmers, Bobby Massey. Not really great. You're talking about Bobby Hart, Buffalo right tackle?
No. I must not be updated, bro. It was somebody else, man, that got released. That was good.
Okay. All right. While Marcus figures that out, we'll move on. I'm going to move on to another position on offense.
Okay.
Receiver. Okay, and I'm just gonna while you're looking that up, and then I gotta also let you figure out which receiver you want to talk about. For me, I'm looking at the way this receiver market is playing out here. Okay, Christian Kirk gets over $20 million a year or whatever it is. I know that the numbers are like kind of weird, but he's making a ton of money. What number, as far as like if we were ranking receivers, are we putting Christian Kirk is not in the top 10? Mm-hmm. He's not in the top 20. Is he in the top 30 of receivers in the NFL?
No.
Okay. So we're talking about a guy who's probably in the between the 30 to 40 range, and that's probably being generous.
Yeah.
Of NFL wide receivers getting paid $20 million a year, and J.C. Jackson, All Pro, the best corner in football this past year. J.C. Jackson gets signed for $16 million a year. Like the best corner, $16 million. Top 50 wide receiver, $20 million. It doesn't make sense to sign wide receivers in free agency. That's all I'm trying to get towards. Okay, the premium that you have to pay. You could draft someone who's going to give you the same Christian Kirk production. He's never gotten over 1,000 yards in his career.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually went to the stats. I was like, wait, did Christian Kirk get like a sneaky 1,000 yards like for the last 4 years? Like, am I missing something here? No. Never had 100 catches, never had 1,000 yards, gets paid $20 million a year to play wide receiver. I just think you can get a third-round wide receiver to do that for you, right? So I'm against signing wide receivers in free agency. There's a lot of names that we've seen out there. The one guy, because I know you have another guy that you want to talk about pulling a trade-off for, but when I'm looking at this and everyone's talking about, does DJ Chark get signed yet?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Lions.
Lions got Chark. Okay, great.
Yeah.
So people are talking about Chark versus Allen Robinson, right? And it's really a silly conversation to have because Allen Robinson is like a legit number one premier wide receiver in the NFL, and Chark is just like a guy who's part of the offense who takes the top off. Like, we're talking about two completely different calibers of players here. But Allen Robinson is that guy. Allen Robinson can be like, if this guy had like quality quarterback play, he would be a household name. We would be talking about Allen Robinson like we're talking about Deebo Samuels and Cooper Kupps and Devontae Adams. My opinion. You know, you guys could come at me for that, but Allen Robinson is legit. And if the Raiders got him, I mean, there you go. There's the arms race. They have the money to do it. If we're looking at wide receivers, I mean, I could go like far down the list and find a guy who's just, fast or a guy who does this or something like that. Demir Bird played for Josh McDaniels. He's kind of like a shifty slot guy, played on the outside a little bit. So maybe they go, most likely it seems like what they're doing, they're going for like the smaller, lower level free agents. But if they did make a splash, Allen Robinson, I think you could get him for, cheap, cheaper than the guy that you're going to talk about. But if they really wanted to, Allen Robinson, he's a beast. So what do you got?
I watched Allen Robinson tape, and it basically Allen Robinson tape this year was, Justin Fields was just a rookie, and he just wasn't seeing the field very well, and he would miss him a lot. He was wide open like all the time. I wish I could show a little film of it, but he was just all over the place, just wide open. And I think a lot of people are just missing him a little bit. And since we like Justin Fields and we want Justin Fields to be good, kind of degrade him a little bit because it can't be Justin that's missing him. It has to be Allen Robinson, right? So the flip side of that, which I think it's gonna be cheaper than we think. One, because
come off injury
down year, right?
The down year, okay.
Yeah. Okay. He had the down year. He's 29. Okay. So he's on the back end of his career or whatever they would like to say. So I think he's going to be a little cheaper and that's probably his problem right now. He can't figure out why people aren't. You don't think I'm 20 million? Like he probably can't figure that out in his head. And we'll get to like next week and he'll just kind of give up and take a 1-year deal. I feel like that's what's going to happen with Allen Robinson. I feel like that. He thinks he's a 20
no one plays better than a wide receiver on a 1-year deal, okay?
Especially one like him.
Oh, God, I know. Go for 1,600.
that dude's good. He's gonna come in and ball.
If you guys haven't watched Allen Robinson, like I want to pull it on. He's sick. He is sick. Yeah, if you got something, go ahead. Just share the screen. Allen Robinson is filthy. NFL player, this is about as good as it gets.
Let me pull this up.
People are talking about MVS.
Yeah, see.
MVS. I'll talk about MVS. With me, it's the same thing as DJ Chark. It's the same kind of guy as DJ Chark. We're talking about a tall guy who's super fast. MVS was up on that list of the 6'4" guys who run sub 4.4s or whatever. He's like one of like 10 players in history who did it before this year. So incredible physical profile, obviously, like the athletic profile is incredible. MVS, what's his route tree look like? It's like 2 routes. He's going to run a post, he's going to run a fade, and he's going to run a comeback. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's not like we're seeing like a super detailed guy. I think that he's prone to some errors. We've seen some errors in big-time Green Bay games with MVS where Aaron Rodgers like hits him in the back of the head or he throws and MVS isn't there, and then Aaron Rodgers is like demonstrative towards Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So I don't think he's like a great player. I think he's a way better athlete than he is a football player. We've seen a lot of concentration drops from him in his NFL, career. I think if the Raiders did sign him, great. You got that burner. Okay, awesome. But I think you could probably we could sign Christian Watson and get the same kind of thing. For cheaper.
Yeah, the speed guy thing. I mean, there's the whole wide receiver class ran 4.3. So I mean, you can find. I mean, Jalen Tolbert. I mean,
the whole class. Get two of them, please. Guys. Don't sign any of these. Yeah, right.
Pick one of those guys and let them run deep, and then 2 years from now, maybe they can run everything.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
But we know MVS isn't going to have a full route tree. We know it.
Yeah,
we know it at this point. He's not going to have a full route tree. So yeah, I'm with you. Get a guy who has a similar athletic profile in the draft and see if he can turn it to even better than MVS. Because it's not like this is some incredible player we're talking about here.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Marcus is going to show us.
Just a little Al Robinson right here. I like this one. Watch him high point the football here.
And get the feet in, yeah.
And get the feet in, yeah. Just a little high point right there, and get the feet in. All right, I got some more here. What's this one? I just like this route he ran right here. So
bottom of the screen?
No, top of the screen right here. See, I even got this set up, guys. I'm sorry.
This
is wrong. So I got it right here, right? And you could just tell how he's just setting this up. Then he uses his physicality, and he's open because that's his size. That's open. He doesn't need that much, And it's and then you see the release here, and then he's wide open, and Justin Fields doesn't see him, and kind of just throws it for an interception. I'm not gonna slander Justin Fields though; he's a young guy. I'm not gonna do it. All right, but you kind of see people talk about he can't win deep. I mean, yeah, okay, there it is, right there. Right?
Who says that?
A lot of people, and there he is, one right open right there by himself. Again, if you guys can see that, he's just running deep by himself. This another touchdown right there. Just a touchdown. I'm not gonna. And this him inside is starting. He can't win deep. Look at the inside. Oof, look at that. Tell you, this dude is what are we talking about here? And I'm telling you, you could probably get him for this better gonna be crazy. What he gets. And it's gonna be like on 1 year. It's gonna be 1 year, man.
I know it's gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be nuts, and it's gonna be nuts what you get him for. Because I'm telling you, he's gonna be a next week guy. Because he's 29, he had a bad year, and people are gonna be like, "Well, how good are you still? Can you still get open? I don't know. Look at the separation number you had. All this. All the analytic stats people got out there.
Oh yeah.
What's your EPA this year? I don't get the narrative about him, but there's a narrative out there. He should be signed. Let's be honest. If he was actually looked at like the type of player that he should be, he would be signed already. So obviously he's looked at as an old guy that's fading off. So the old guys that are fading off do visits. I bet he's gonna start doing visits then. He's going to go visit people. Probably like Calais Campbell, Hicks, they're going to start doing visits. The old guys do visits. They go look. They go try to figure out what's going on, try to see what the fit is, because he said he's going to realize it pretty soon, So that's why I like Robinson. I think we should just wait him out a little bit. And I might be wrong. People are pointing out how I was wrong.
Hey,
the players
I would be geeked if we got Allen Robinson. But that's the only receiver. For me, all these other guys who are just guys, were just, pieces, part of the offense. You're just like, one little cog in the offense. Do not give a guy like that $15 million a year, please. Why? Just draft a guy. Come on. All right, so we're going to move on. Now I'm going to move on to, I think defensive tackle is a big need in this defense. Yes. I think that the type of defensive tackles that Gus Bradley used, the gap penetrators, Solomon Thomas and Quentin Jeffersons, that doesn't happen in this defense. Graham wants big guys who lock out, who build a wall on the line of scrimmage and can win one-on-one blocks, against the run. Super important for him And the reason why that's important is because he doesn't want to add numbers to the box.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to play with 2 high safeties, and he wants the guys who are down there to get the job done without adding an extra player in there, okay? So you can't do that. You can't ask little guys to do that. You got to ask big guys to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't okay. We're talking about potentially getting a free agent here.
Yes.
You've brought up a couple guys, you know. I was looking at some guys. Taven Bryan got signed today.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, I don't know. I'm interested to hear what you think, but I think a guy like Akeem Hicks, and obviously like Calais Campbell.
Yeah.
Can someone say Calais Campbell is a scheme fit? And I'll be like, yeah, in any scheme. In any scheme of all time, Calais Campbell. So yeah, he's a scheme fit. But Akeem Hicks definitely he's a scheme fit. These are both guys who are huge gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
but then also their ability to basically take on they're just like they invite blockers.
Yeah.
If you to put on Calais Campbell, put on Akeem Hicks, they're getting doubled or tripled. They are just a black hole for blockers. So I think a player like that for sure on the defensive line, there's just not much right now. Phylon is hurt, and then we got Hankins, who did play with Graham in the past.
Yeah.
So I honestly think Hankins is a lock to make this roster.
Yeah. Is Hankins still on the team? I don't think he's still on the team.
I think he's a free agent. But I think he's gonna sign back again.
Because it's interesting you brought that up because Patrick Graham mentioned him by name, and I was like, he's on the team. He's like, I used to work with Hankins. I remember I used to play with Hankins. I was like, did you just tell us you're gonna re-sign John Hankins?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. These guys are just football guys. He's not even publicly trained. He's telling us. I was like, this dude straight up, I'm like, bro, you can't say that. He's on the team. You can't say I used to play with Jonathan Hankins. He's not on the team.
Yeah. Is that tampering? He's going to get in trouble for that. We got a couple more names here. I don't watch Eddie Goldman. I know that he's on the same team as Akeem Hicks. I think I've seen him in games on broadcasts. What do you think about Eddie Goldman?
I mean, that Bears defensive line is good, bro. So any of those players, you would like bringing them in. They're all strong across the board. So they all do something really well. Like, I mean, Eddie Goldman is good against the run. I mean, that was one of the Bears. They were probably one of the best teams against the run early on when Khalil Mack was playing. I mean, that's why the Chargers went and got Khalil Mack is because he could stop the run so well. Still, I mean, he's the god of setting the edge. So nobody's setting the edge better than Khalil Mack. So I mean, that's why the Chargers got him. But I mean, like. We could still do inside zone though, but whatever. Anyways, with the Akeem Hicks or Eddie Goldman, those guys, you could bring them in and they could play well, and then you can draft guys behind them if those players end up getting hurt, especially if you get like Calais Campbell or Hicks, because Hicks, that's his biggest problem. He can't stay healthy, right?
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, right, you can do a lot with him. But that's why you draft somebody behind him because, right, he plays really good. Then you can do some rotations. And then just in case he gets hurt, the young guy gets some run, right? Young guy gets run. And then you get Akeem Hicks back. And then, maybe for, whatever they want to do. And, he keeps – and then you get the Devontae Wyatt back. And then maybe you don't even play Hicks anymore because Devontae Wyatt is just killing it. So that's kind of how you want to look at it too. Like, you want somebody to start in front of these guys so you don't have to feel as you have to draft Devontae Wyatt or you have to get somebody because then you might get Travis Jones later. And then you can, Travis Jones has great hands too and has great pad level, So if you get him later, right, get him in the second round or something like that, which, I mean, he might sneak it in the first. I don't know because his freakish athletic ability. If you do that with him, then, you could put somebody in front of him and make that work. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely twofold. Looking at the quarterbacks in this division, defensive line, it's got to be addressed. You have to be able to get after the quarterback, and it has to happen. Gus Bradley coined this, and I really like the way that he talked about having it happen in waves. Having multiple pass rushers out there, different groups of guys. But yeah, even more so than ever, you're gonna need to have different flavors. You're gonna need to have multiple guys. Your fourth defensive tackle needs to be the guy that you're comfortable having 15, 20 snaps in a game.
Yeah,
you got to have that. So free agency and draft for sure. But these guys.
As a random question for you, BD. So Malcolm Koontz.
Yeah.
What is his outlook? What do you think is his future? Like, could he be somebody like they're not like not reaching out to try to find edge rushers? You know, because I mean, I was just looking at his PFF winning percentage. It was pretty interesting to me. So I was wanting to know your thoughts on him.
Was it good? I doubt it.
I mean, it was 50% of his snaps.
Yeah, I think that might be skewed because he had like a couple. Because here's the thing with Koontz, we're gonna have to see just him on the field. I think it's a shame that he didn't get more playing time as a rookie. Okay. There's so many games where I'm watching Yannick Ngakoue, and I'm like, what's he doing? He's on the ground. He's getting, and I think that he tried to bulk up last year, Ngakoue, to be like an every down player, and I just don't think that that's what Ngakoue's like calling card and best trait was.
Yeah.
And I would much rather see, and I really wish this happened, they just subbed Koontz a little bit more and let Ngakoue have fresh legs so he could be a factor in the fourth quarter, which he really wasn't this last year. Yeah. So if just to get Ngakoue fresher legs, we'll see what Koontz can do. I think that he does fit from, just like the type of edges that Graham has used in the past, like Ojulari types, these guys, they're not necessarily like speed rushers. They're like heavy hands on the edge kind of guys. But yeah, I mean, we'll see where that goes. It could be, but I feel like this is just me. I would rather see another edge rusher come in and not just to be like the situational rusher, like to challenge Ngakoue's spot as a starter. That's what I think that this team, ideally, Ngakoue is the situational rusher for this team. If this is a playoff caliber, like a championship level defense, Ngakoue is the third rusher, not the second rusher.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's what you
But yeah, I mean, we'll see about Koontz. I'm not like super optimistic or anything about Koontz, but we'll see. Let's jump forward here. A lot of people are talking about linebackers. Okay, I'm not sure if you're aware of the no-name linebackers who are currently, out there. I saw Dante Hightower name get floated. I think that's interesting. There's a couple guys like Reggie Ragland that have worked with Graham before, but guys that are kind of bigger, over 250-pound linebackers, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we've seen Graham use in the past. I don't think that it's necessarily a need because like people are going to be like, and they might not have seen our discussion about Perryman on Twitter today.
Yeah,
Perryman is a Pro Bowl linebacker. Can't take that away from him. Okay, And we talked about it when I did like the breakdown of Graham's defense. I'm not sure if the style of play is the same, is going to work, is going to be conducive to Perryman's style. And really, at 5'11", 240 pounds, coming downhill and taking on guards and tackles, there's no way he's doing that for 16 games, Perryman. So they do need, like, we'll see if Graham says, okay, Perryman, you don't have to do that. We don't have to play like that. The way that I've always played, we'll do the way you like it. We'll see. Maybe he does that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I doubt it. And I just think if he has to come, like the run fits that we're seeing these guys have to do, where they're getting their shoulder in there, they're locking out, they're hitting with their hands. I just think Perryman would probably last half a season doing that at best.
Okay. So I know you love Darian Beavers. You're a big Darian Beavers guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is a free agency show, but yeah, Beavers, I'm interested. The thing with what Graham wants, he wants an inside linebacker who's essentially a movable lineman, like a 260-pound inside linebacker. Mm-hmm. And he wants that guy in some nickel looks. He wants that guy to be big enough to stand up on the edge of the line of scrimmage, and now you have like a five on the line and one linebacker. Okay, so you look at the mic that we have, Denzel Perryman. Is Denzel Perryman at 5'11", 240 standing up on the edge of the line of scrimmage?
No.
You can't ask that player to do that, right? And that's a big part of Rams defense. So a guy like Darian Beavers, right? He's 6'4", he's 250 pounds. That's a guy that you ask to stand up on line of scrimmage, right? Dante Hightower has done that his entire career, where he'll be an inside linebacker and then he'll line up on the edge. Guys like that, guys who fit that profile, a linebacker who is the size of a defensive end. That's kind of what we're looking for in Graham's defense, I think. But we'll see.
Okay. All right. So we're moving on to next. What we got?
Okay. Okay. I think we'll finish up with a corner and safety. So
okay,
corner. I'll do my guy, and then you do the other scenario that we're talking about.
Okay.
Stephon Gilmore was a guy that I was looking at. I looked at yesterday. I was like, okay, this is a good. J.C. Jackson gone. Carlton Davis, he got signed. Come on. Stephon Gilmore, like this is the same caliber, same area, right? Like it's not far off. Okay, it was just like 4 years ago. Stephon Gilmore was the number one corner in football, right? 3 years ago, right? Yeah. So it's not super far off. It's not like this was like 10 years ago and Stephon Gilmore has to play safety now or something like that, right? Like no, Stephon Gilmore, and I'm sure he has a chip on his shoulder, probably, right? You know. So I would be super excited about Stephon Gilmore because he's going to be very nuanced. He's going to be very detailed. He can play every single coverage you ask him. He can hold up in man coverage. He can press. He can give physical. He can tackle. There's really not much this guy can't do. I guess if you line him up in to run a race against, maybe like Darren Waller, he'll probably lose that race. But other than that, this guy, incredible amount of technique and skill. And if we thought Casey Hayward had that last year, it would be even another step, another notch up from Casey Hayward in terms of just like the consummate professional. So I'm interested in Stephon Gilmore for that reason, but he hasn't signed yet. And I have a theory, and I think it's going to be what you're talking about, why he hasn't signed yet.
What I think Stephon Gilmore hasn't signed yet?
Oh, no. Right. But who did you want to talk about for your free agent corner?
Free agent corner. Well, I want to talk about Bradberry. I mean, Bradberry is probably, he's not a free agent. Well, he probably will be tomorrow because I think they have to pay him some kind of some kind of whatever by tomorrow or something. So he'll be a free agent tomorrow. And I think that's what kind of maybe what the Raiders are waiting for too, as well. Getting James Bradberry. I mean that. We're waiting for something. So I don't know where we're waiting. I mean, that would make sense. James Bradberry falls off. I mean, you sign him. I mean, that upgrades this room a lot. Because Trayvon Mullen, he's shown to be a solid two. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he has been a solid two. You brought Casey Hayward in to be a good one. Trayvon Mullen before he got hurt, that was a good. They did their job. He did his job on the other side.
Oh yeah, so corners weren't a problem this year, really, until Trayvon Mullen got hurt. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So he's a solid two. I mean, we could set that up. That's pretty set up. I mean, if they want to pay him again, that's the next decision. I don't know if he's going to decide he wants to be what's that, do Ward or whatever. He wants to be Travarius Ward, and thinks he could just leave Steve.
Oh yeah.
But we'll see how that goes. But with Trayvon Mullen, he could be two, and then Casey Hayward, you had him, and then you could bring in James Bradberry. They could do the same thing. And then it's damn well. I mean, they still could bring in Stephon Gilmore. I don't know. I mean, how many corners do you need? Especially, I mean, they got to have some kind of slot corner. I don't know what they're gonna do with Nate Hobbs. I mean, Nate Hobbs is kind of tall for Patrick Graham, slot corner. He is. He's tall. I mean, he's basically an outside corner.
He's the size of an outside corner. Yeah.
For Patrick Graham, which we nobody's really asked him. We all just assume that he's going to play the slot, but nobody's really asked if he thinks he's a slot. which I think that's kind of the thought too. Is like, okay, all your other slots are all 5'10", 190, but you're going to keep the 6'1", 205, who's every size of your corner inside.
Yes.
But he could just,
I think Hobbs. This is really interesting. What's going to happen with Hobbs? They play so much cover two. Hobbs comes from a cover two scheme in college, right? Graham likes cover two. He wants his corners to tackle. Maybe Hobbs is an outside corner, like you're saying. He's 6'1", 205. Like, yeah, this is the size of an outside corner for sure. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, watching Graham's defense last year, he had a guy, Logan Ryan. Everyone knows Logan Ryan. And he also had another guy named Julian Love. And these guys they were really used interestingly. Some games you would see Logan Ryan in the nickel like the entire game. And then the next game he would be playing strong safety for them. Right? And then he would have that guy Julian Love play nickel. Or he would have Jabril Peppers play nickel. Right? But he would move these guys around. These guys who were safeties were also nickels for him. Right? And I don't know if Hobbs continues to stay inside, it could be, and we don't see them make a big safety move. It could be that Hobbs is going to play like that matchup spot where he plays in the slot, where he plays safety. That's what he used. I mean, Julian Love was a really young player, and he did that early in his career with him. In his second year, he was doing that with him. So it could be that is what the plan is for Nate Hobbs. But yeah, I agree. I think that the chances of him just playing straight nickel, I think that's actually probably the lowest probability.
Because Julian Love is a corner coming out, wasn't he?
Yep.
That's interesting. Julian Love, I was like, he was a corner coming out. And he did play a lot inside because when I lost the Giants, Julian Love basically played safety. And even Patrick Graham, he even said in his press conference, that's what I was talking about. His press conference was super cool. Because he said that what you guys think of safety is not what I think of safety. And I kind of,
because he has three different safeties. He has three different types of safeties that he uses. He already has the Merrick type. That's what he used Xavier McKinney. That technically is the strong safety in this game.
I got something for you.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
So Tyrann Mathieu, that is what you're saying.
Oh, yes. Versatile. Can play nickel. Okay. Can play safety. Yes. That is a slam dunk.
Slam dunk. Okay, all right. Take it back to the
Chiefs,
Chiefs, dog.
Elbow all the way in.
Tyrann, take it back to the Chiefs, bro. Come get him back.
It'd be interesting. So I think Marcus May is a good safety who's on the market right now. Jets haven't picked him back up. I think he had an injury last year. I think he's a guy who can play man coverage. I think he can play strong safety. I think he can play free safety. He's, I think, more well-rounded than Jamal Adams, just not as, didn't make like as big of an impact as a blitzer and like all the splash plays. But Marcus May, I think he's a really good player. And I do think that he's a big step up in coverage from what we've had in the past. So I'd be interested in that. But yeah, Tyrann Mathieu, that's a slam dunk.
He signed with the Saints. Marcus May
he just signed with the Saints. No, I was just looking it up before the show. No, Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams signed with the Ravens.
No, it was Marcus May. I guess it just happened.
Because I was just looking it up. Just now. Yeah, no, yeah. He's saying just now. Man. Okay, I was talking about this guy for no reason. All right, so I guess the only option, because Justin Reed's off the market, which I'm pretty upset about, that was actually going to be my guy for this.
They brought in to replace Tyrann Mathieu.
Tyrann Mathieu, yeah. So, look, maybe Tyrann Mathieu. But, yeah, that would be a slam dunk. That's exactly the type of, I guess you could call that like the Joker safety in Patrick Graham's defense. But he wants that guy who – is he a strong safety? Is he a nickel? Like, what is he? So I think Tyrann Mathieu is that for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Any other? Are you excited about that?
I was thinking.
You look sick as a Raider. Come on.
I was just thinking about it, man. That would be, take it to the Chiefs, bro. What? You could just show Steve Spagnuolo every day what he's missing, and he would let him know too. After the game.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. We got Ivy. He's asked the same question about twice. He wants to know if he thinks that the front officers and the coaches don't have the talent to compete, and they're looking to develop this year, but looking towards next year to spend with more money and compete. See, that's what I think that we talked about a little bit earlier. I think they like this team. I think they like the young core around the team, and they're going to put some veterans around them. I think they like that young core. They have an idea what they want to do with them. I think that the big one is the line to me, right? Their thoughts on the line, the moves that they're making on the line is telling me a lot about their thoughts on the offensive line or their thought on the previous coach, which I'm sure they watched that inside zone tape. They probably thought the same damn thing that I was thinking, which like, what the hell are they doing? Right. And, why is he going so far this way before he's going? That's not, there's a lot of coaching here too. I think they think they're superior coaches to these guys too, which is a big thing. They think their coaching is just so superior to what was here before. I think that's a big part of it too. Like, they watch this tape, like, who's coaching these guys, right? What's this technique, And probably the defense, Patrick Graham's more excited because the defense already comes with the fundamentals. A lot of those guys, they're fundamentally sound already. So he's excited because he doesn't have to teach fundamentals to these guys as much because Gus Bradley already got him set. The young guys too, right? He's got them set to play the fundamentals. They're already structured. They're perfect hitting those zones in cover 3. And so he can mix it up because he's just going to design it. Because he even said in this press conference that I might not play. We might have to look too high. Doesn't mean we're going to play too high. he said, are we going to basically telling that we might play more cover 3, but we just aren't going to show you that it's cover 3 to start off, right? It's gonna be
they are going to play more cover 3 because the secondary coaches from Jacksonville, I think they ran like the third most cover 3 last year after, Seahawks and the Raiders. And then the DB coaches come from Ohio State and they run tons of cover 3 on Ohio State. So they're definitely running cover 3.
Yeah,
I think that he was like, okay, these guys are great at cover 3. Let's find some cover 3 coaches or something like that because
he plays some cover 3,
Yeah.
And here's what I'll say, to this the same question. I'll just respond as well. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Josh McDaniels has had his pick, right? People have been begging him to come coach. Okay. He turned down the Colts job. He took it. They were about to do a press conference and he left. Okay. The guy doesn't need to leave. Okay. He doesn't need to go anywhere. All right. Why would he come here to rebuild? He came here because he knew he could hit the ground running. We just saw the Raiders in the playoffs last year. So I think that the roster is already a competitive roster. It has to be. You can't get to the playoffs without a competitive roster. Like, what are we talking about right now, right? Did the Raiders just luck into the playoffs? Did they just fall backwards into the playoffs? I'm like, no. Like, come on.
They beat some damn good teams, man.
They beat some damn good teams, and there was a lot of
They beat the God. They beat the long-haired God. They beat the guy with the long hair and the curls, man. They beat the long-haired guy.
Everyone loves that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
35.
That's what I'll say. McDaniels, the coaching staff, they like this roster. That's why they came here. That's why they chose this place to come.
Exactly. And also, to me, a lot of it is I think they're confident they're going to be the most prepared team anyways. Are they going to be more prepared than us? I don't know.
Right.
Are those teams going to be more prepared than the Raiders when they play them? Because the Raiders are going to be prepared. We all know that, guys. That's one thing that we know is right now with this team and these coaches is the Raiders are going to be ready to play football. Is the other team going to be ready to play football as much as they are? That's kind of how I'm like, okay, I understand that these teams got a lot better. All right. I mean, Khalil Mack's on the Chargers. I'm pretty pissed off about it. I'm actually more mad because I think about the guys that I heard that Khalil Mack disappeared in the Houston Texans playoff game where he had 9 tackles for loss. I'm still mad about that. So that's just karma to me. So I think that Khalil Mack is karma. Him going to Chargers is karma for people who say stupid shit like that. I'm sorry I cuss, guys, but yeah, I'm sorry. He's Khalil Mack. He's over there. It happens, right? They got Joey Bosa. They're stacked. But these teams are stacking up because they didn't make the playoffs. And that's the point I was trying to get across. Yeah, maybe the Bills, they're making little tiny moves. Like the Bills got all the guys I wanted. They got Tim Settle, for $5 million. They got Isaiah McKenzie for $7 million. They got, they're doing like little tiny things, right? They're little tiny spots. They need a little scat back. So
right.
$7 million scat back, and the really big teams aren't doing a lot. Right, they're retaining their own players, and they're not doing a lot. The Chargers and the Broncos didn't make the playoffs. So if the Raiders didn't make the playoffs, hell yeah, I would want them to try to get better in free agency, right? But that's their approach to taking it. And you can disagree with it, and you can feel like that some of these guys, there's more holes around it, but that's how they feel. I don't know how, the coaching staff, they feel a certain way about these players, obviously, because I mean, the Bengals went and got an offensive lineman real quick, right? Boom, boom, boom. Let me cap him up. They haven't done anything since. They got 2 offensive linemen, bam, bam.
They need it.
And they sat there.
Yeah.
And they sat there, and they haven't done, because that's all they needed. They think, okay, we get 2 offensive linemen, we got some young core, we got a bunch of young guys. We're going to go back. We're going to run it back, right? And I think the Raiders are waiting for some old guys to come back, and we'll see, man. It's still early. I mean, the splash guys, Christian Kirk got $18 million, right? Basically, I'm kind of going on a rant here, but I was going to make a point. Basically, free agency is like a redraft to me. If you look at it, it's like a redraft. Okay, Zay Jones. We talk about Zay Jones getting all the money he got, and we're like, how the hell did he get that money? Because Zay Jones, at the end of the day, is a 4.4 wide receiver. Is what is he? 26, 27? Runs a 4.4, and he has a lot of ability. Right? Is he a gamer? No, I don't think he's a gamer. But if you watch him in practice, you're probably like, oh my god, because he had probably the greatest Senior Bowl practice you've ever seen. Look it up, guys. Look up Zay. Type in Zay Jones Senior Bowl practice on YouTube, and you'll be like, who the hell is that guy? Right? It's crazy. And that's the type of player
his college highlights are nuts too.
So the athletic ability is like that. Same thing with Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk is an upside guy. They paid $18 million because they think he's going to become a wide receiver 1. A lot of free agency is like that. That's why J.C. Jackson, you mentioned earlier, he doesn't get a lot of money because he's undrafted. They're like, we drafted the first time, so
J.C. Jackson has some background because he was a 5-star recruit and he was probably going to be a first-round corner.
Yeah,
but he got into trouble. So you can look that up. I honestly forgot what it is, but I remember that story being J.C. Jackson is a first-round talent. Patriots got him in like the supplemental draft or something like that because he got into trouble. So yeah, I mean, you're right. Your original draft position does have an effect, a small effect in free agency. So, but it does have an effect.
It does have an effect because that's why I kind of think that he still got that little bit of money, not the same amount of money a regular big corner like he would, especially with the money he got.
It's weird. Right? It's weird. Yeah, I think some people were. This is another rant. I mean, we should probably get out of here soon. But some people were talking about how because the NFL defenses are playing so much more too high structure, that actually safeties are becoming are gradually getting more value, and then guys who are corners are becoming less value because they're always having safety help. And if you look at Marcus Williams, got paid comparable to J.C. Jackson, so I think that might have a point to it. Like your cover safety is getting just as valuable, if not more valuable, than your cover corner.
Damn it! I mean, but so what does Jesse Bates get then?
Jesse Bates will get $20 million at this rate.
It's like the Bengals. That's what a lot of what the Chargers and doing it too is because the whole rookie deal thing, that whole like rookie deal.
Yeah, they got their roster is constructed differently.
The NFL puts so much pressure on young quarterbacks these days. Like the average quarterback, you guys can look this up. Check it out if I'm wrong. Go ahead and look it up. Look at Tom Brady. Look at Peyton Manning. Look at Drew Brees. Look at Aaron Rodgers. Look when they got really good. Just go look it up. Look when they got really good and how old they were. And I think they put so much pressure on. Like there's a lot of pressure on Herbert, man. He got to win the Super Bowl this year. Like we're stacking up. He's like a third-year guy, man. He hasn't even seen every coverage. He hasn't even seen everything that you have to see in the NFL. And playing quarterback so hard. So I think that was my side rant. But they're putting a lot of pressure. I mean, let's look at now. They're like, if we pay you, we can't win anymore. So he's got to win in his first 3 years.
You got to win. Like this is it. We have no opportunity after this.
The only guys that win in the first 3 years
$60 million a year.
They have Troy Polamalu and Richard Shermans and Earl Thomases, Cam Chancellors and James Farriers and Troy Porters. And I keep going. You know what I mean? Those are the guys who wins early. Teddy Bruschi's and Willie McGinnis and Ty Laws, and those are the guys who win Super Bowls early. And then we put all this pressure on some of these. Like, I mean, look at Kyler Murray, man. They can't. We're so wrong, man. We're so wrong what we do to these guys. 3 years. I mean, like, even Baker Mayfield. I get on Baker Mayfield, but damn, man, he didn't get a chance to be 28. They're getting rid of him.
Yeah.
He might still like Matthew Stafford wasn't good early, and then he got to 28, and he started getting good, and now he goes Super Bowl. It's just
the last thing I'll say about this too is
go ahead, guys. Go ahead. Sorry,
Matt Stafford, right?
Yeah.
People were questioning. They're like, "Is Matt Stafford good still?" Right?
Yeah.
Or even like Matt Ryan, okay. But if you just looked at their tape and compared it to like Joe Burrows or Justin Herbert's, we're seeing a lot of the same thing. But those guys, they're young, so it's a lot more exciting, okay? Whereas like, Stafford was doing the no-look passes way before Patrick Mahomes. No one ever talked about it. No one ever like put it on like Sports Center, like the no-look pass. He's literally been doing that his entire career.
It's in the pocket.
Okay,
the pocket.
But they forget like whoever like the flavor of the month is, because they're already trying to crown Burrow and Herbert over Mahomes, right? So whoever the flavor of the month is, that's what the media is all about. But I agree, there's a lot of pressure on these guys.
They gotta win early, or you can't do it at all. That's like the narrative.
Yeah. And with the Chargers, you look at what they've done, like the moves they made. They get Khalil Mack, they get J.C. Jackson, the number one corner in free agency, right? They're getting all these guys. I mean, I think the media is going to turn on them when they inevitably, have some kind of issue. I mean, are these guys going to all be on the field at the same time? They have so many injuries and lost with the Chargers, right? I don't know what's up with their strength and conditioning staff, right? But when they inevitably, because the Chargers are always going to Charger, when they inevitably fall short, they'll probably make the playoffs, right? With this roster, if you don't make the playoffs, like what are we talking about? But whenever anything happens, everyone's going to be like, this is a failure of a year. Look at everyone you got, and you didn't win the Super Bowl. Yeah. And like, so at that point, what they're doing, it's really Super Bowl or bust. Like if you don't win, it's a disappointment, right? But you can't say that on teams that are taking their time in free agency, right? Can't say that.
Yeah, it's just interesting, man. The pressure that they put on him, man. Like it's like even just like to ask him to carry the team last year is just crazy. He's a second year quarterback. Of course, he's not gonna make the playoffs. Carry us. Like what?
Yeah.
But that's the narrative. Like, it's young guys, get a young gun.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
I don't know. It's just funny how we just forget all quarterback history and just try to throw some, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, what are we talking about? I'm talking about.
That's it.
All right.
I thought it was going to be a shorter show because nothing happened. We still were able to talk about nothing happening for a full hour, Raider Nation. That's why you come and tune into the Take Down Live Raiders Film channel. Thanks to Marcus. He showed us some Allen Robinson film.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got the tape in, rewind back. I think that was probably like 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in when you did that. So appreciate that. But that's it. Raider Nation, we're gonna head out here. Make sure you keep on tuning in. Looking for updates from us. Marcus, you got something before we get out here?
Make sure you subscribe, of course, and then make sure you do that. And then also, I'm gonna do some more film breakdowns, some more draft stuff. I got that coming. We're gonna do some, all that good stuff. We're gonna do some more wide receiver breakdowns. It's coming, guys. So we got you. You know what I mean?
I am going to also be breaking down whoever the Raiders sign on defense. Whenever that happens. Whenever that happens.
All right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give us your corners and your safeties for the draft, though.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that for sure. I've already gotten through 8 corners, I think now. So I'm gonna do safeties next. But definitely that's gonna be we'll do the rankings, for that show. Stay tuned, Raider Nation. We got stuff for you.
Stay tuned. Yes, sir.
All right. That's it, y'all. I'll let you.
Peace.